What's up, everyone? Welcome back. This is the second episode of Breaking It Down. I'm your host, Javon. And today, we're going to be going over what happened last week, what's going to happen this week. So let's get right to it. All right, so let's see. Last week was, I would say, pretty decent. I think so. We had our picks go 2-1, and our Draftkings picks did pretty well last week. So let's get this paper out here and give you a little recap of how everything happened. If I can find the paper, maybe we can get the show going here. I want to give a shout out to Emergency. If you want to sponsor my show, I would love to drink a pack of this every day. It keeps you healthy. It keeps you away from that common cold, that cough that goes around all the time. Emergency. Wake up and see. Okay. So last week, it was an exciting week of NFL action. I think we had a few upsets. Last week was kind of the week of the dogs. So we'll get to the good news last, and I'll give you the bad news first. So what was the bad news? Well, the Redskins didn't show up. They just didn't even come to play a football game last week. They got beat pretty bad by the Colts. They couldn't really muster any kind of offense. Whatever they had going in Arizona was gone, completely out the window. So the Colts came into Washington and they got the straight up W. Not only did they cover the spread, but they won on the money line as well. So it was a rough start to my morning, and it could only get better from then, right? So after that, we gave out the LA Rams laying 13 to 2 touchdowns anywhere in that range. I mean, it didn't matter what you laid in that game. If you spotted the Cardinals 33.5, you still would have won. So the Rams put a whooping on Arizona 34-0. That was an easy winner. I saw that happening all the way. Finally, Monday night, that was a great game. Chicago at home laying, I gave the number out at 3.5. I think around game time it was up to 4.5, 4 or 5, something like that. Didn't matter. They won by 7. That game was kind of in hand the whole way, so I wasn't too worried about that. Chicago showed up at home. Prince Amukamara had the big pick six in that third or fourth quarter. I don't know exactly when it was. Anyways, he brought it back to the house, and that kind of sealed the win and the cover there. So good job, Chicago. They got a much needed win at home on Monday night. And in the fantasy world, let's see, how did we do? Well, I did well with the stud selection. I mean, that's not the hardest thing to do. If you had these guys in your lineup, you were definitely cashing out in cash games and maybe even in some tournaments. I think I placed in like the top 3K of the top 3,000 of one of the big Draftkings tournaments this week. So that was pretty good. I mean, I'd like to get a little higher than that. I think my defense let me down. Yeah, the Redskins defense definitely let me down. So let's go over our studs pick last week. Michael Thomas, big game. I think he caught 2 touchdowns. Big Ben had a huge day passing at home against the Chiefs. Todd Gurley went off. Zach Ertz went for 100 yards. The Rams D pitched a shutout. One guy I missed on was James Conner. I think a lot of people were on him last week, and that's always, something to be concerned about is when everybody's on a guy, you want to kind of go the other way. Not every time, but James Conner definitely didn't produce. Sleepers kind of missed on that. Sorry about those guys. I know these are the big picks that you want to kind of save some money on in your lineups. The one guy that did have a big day was Matt Breida. He broke off like an 80-yard touchdown run, 75-yard touchdown run in the second half, and that broke open the game for San Francisco. So Matt Breida, at his price tag, definitely exceeded what he should have done. Tyrod Taylor, he didn't, he was okay. He didn't really give you what you wanted as far as winning a tournament goes. Maybe if you got him in a cash game, you did okay. Dante Pettis really didn't do anything. Same with George Kittle. I mean, the Niners scored 30 points. Those guys just weren't really involved. Devin Funchess, The Jags and the Redskins defense, my defensive plays weren't that good as far as sleepers go. So we'll see if we can shake that up and do better this week. So if you did take my picks, you went 2-1. Profitable week, depending on how much you bet. And some of the Draftkings studs did okay. So let's get into the show this week. All right, so let's take a look at the first of my 3-game slate I like this week. And I'm going to go out on a limb here. And some of you are going to think I'm crazy. A little crazy. But I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to go into Arrowhead and steal a game from Mr. Patty Mahomes, the guy that, he's on more than fire. This dude is killing right now. He dropped 6 tubs last week. They dropped 42 on the Steelers, I think. I mean, the Chiefs are on fire. You're probably thinking, what? How are the Niners going to go into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs? Well, let's give you some reasons here. First off, the line report. Okay, so right now we have heavy action on the Kansas City Chiefs. I think 80% or 70% of the tickets are all on the Chiefs right now. So betting public is in love with Kansas City. And the line really hasn't gone up a whole lot. So it's sitting around 6.5, 7 points some places, depending where you're at. So Vegas is expecting this to kind of land in that touchdown range. Let's look at the situation both these teams are in. Right now, the Chiefs are coming in so confident. I mean, you probably say they're overconfident with how they've been playing. The Niners, on the other hand, are hungry. Coming off that win against the Lions, they're going to come into this game. They know that they're going to have to basically put everything on the table against the team that a lot of people are saying is the best in the NFL. So I feel like the Chiefs are coming in a little confident, and the Niners are going to be hungry to show them who they are. So injuries, there's not really much to talk about. Big wide receiver injury for San Francisco's Marquise Goodwin. I don't know for sure if he's coming back. Coach Shanahan has been saying, he might be there, he might not be. So we'll see whether Goodwin comes back or not. If he does, that'd be a huge lift for that offense because he is very important to what they want to do on offense. So injuries, I wouldn't say there's a big trend towards either side. This game has a high over-under, 54, so we're expecting a lot of points. That's, to be expected with the high-flying Chiefs offense and one of the great offensive minds of the game, Kyle Shanahan. So I think we can look to this game and say, okay, 2 coaches, Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, 2 great offensive minds. This is going to turn into a shootout. Let's make no mistake. I don't know if it's going to go over. I'm not saying that it's going to be an over game. What I am saying, though, is there's going to be a lot of offense, and you can bet that this touchdown is going to be in play for sure. Take those 7 points, maybe by the hook, 7.5, and that's going to be in play all game long. I firmly believe that. I think the Chiefs are coming in way too confident. I think they're overvalued in this spot, and look, the Niners, same type of dog they were in Minnesota. I know they didn't get the cover in that game. Minnesota has a way better defense. The Chiefs' defense has still been getting slashed every game. They gave up 37 to the Steelers and I think 26, 28 to the Chargers. So, look, the Chiefs' defense is not good. And my personal belief is I got to take a good defense if they're going to cover this spread. So, let's take the Niners plus 7. And if you're feeling, a little feisty, you're feeling like maybe the Niners are going to win this game outright, go ahead, drop a little money line. I think you'll get at least 2-1 odds. So first play is going to be the 49ers +7. Niners +7. All right. Next game. I want to give out 4 picks this week. I'm going to stick to my system and go with 3, so that way if it goes, 2-1, we're winning instead of 2-2. So let's, gosh, I don't know which one I'm more confident in right now. Okay, I'll give you a little primetime game. Well, relatively primetime. Let's go with the Cowboys and the Seahawks. You're probably thinking, Javon, where are those Cowboys, Seahawks? Yeah, that's the Fox America's Game of the Week, as they say. So that'll be on at 1:30, something like that. And 4:30 East Coast time, the Dallas Cowboys are traveling up to Seattle, and they'll have a date with Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, and the Seahawks coming off that Monday Night Football loss. All right. So what do we think's going to be the play here? I'm going to tell you that this game is going to go over 41 points. What, Javon? You're crazy. How is this going to go over 41? Both these teams struggle on offense. Both these teams can't move the ball up and down the field. How in the heck is this game going to go over 41 points? Well, I'll tell you how. First off, let's look at the line. 41, 40.5. All the action's been on the under this whole week. Everybody's betting the under. What's that line done? Stayed the same. Hasn't moved. So, I look at that and I say, all right, well, Vegas isn't too confident that they want to move this line any lower. So that means they kind of want this action on the under. So what kind of situation are both these teams in? Hawks coming in off short rest. They got a tired defense. The Bears, I wouldn't say are an offensive juggernaut by any means, and they were able to move the ball up and down the field. I know they didn't convert in the red zone. They were able to get the ball going up and down the field pretty much that entire game at home. So if it weren't for a Trubisky pick, I think Trubisky threw two picks, they would have probably scored at least another 3 to 7 points in that game. So the Seahawks defense is not what it used to be. I think everybody knows that now. They're a little tired Monday night. Let's look at Dallas. Dallas, on the other hand, does have a good defense. I have rated them coming into this year as one of the top-ranked defenses in football. They have a great pass rush. They have improved their safeties. They still have Sean Lee at middle linebacker, so they're a solid unit. I look for them in this game, though, to kind of slip up a bit. They played 2 great games against Carolina and New York. Both are okay offenses. They're not relatively coached that well compared to the rest of, the greater offensive minds in the game. But I will say this. The Cowboys' defense is vulnerable to big plays in the secondary. So you get maybe a bomb over the top, Russell Wilson extend the play, come out, bomb over the top to Tyler Lockett. Maybe this guy Will Dissly makes a few plays. I could see that defense getting tired down the stretch, and this could turn into a game that ends up in the 20s. And is that so hard to say? I mean, the line is only 41, so all we need is like a 24-20 type score, maybe 23-21, and this game will go over. Let's look at some of these injuries. I mean, there's nothing big to note here. One thing, though, is Bobby Wagner is not playing at full health. He's the captain of that defense. He's been the unquestioned leader for them since the departure of Cam Chancellor and Richard Sherman. I know Earl Thomas is still there, but his holdout, I think Bobby Wagner's kind of the guy that's been holding down that Seattle defense and keeping things together. So he's been a little hobbled. I think it's a knee injury. And, if the Cowboys are able to create some rushing lanes up the middle and he's not at his 100% best, then Zeke, you give him one cut and you give him some open space, he's chunking out 15 yards and maybe another 5 or 10 on top of that with his ability to finish runs strong. So let's look at some of these trends. Dallas, as far as injuries go, there really is nothing to note on the Dallas side of the ball. So some of these trends I'm noticing for this game, Dallas, okay, they had a terrible performance on Carolina. You know their coaching staff, they put up 8 points. You know their coaching staff is going to be like, all right, guys, we can't go out here and just score 8 points and expect to win. So I really think that Garrett's going to open up the playbook a little bit. Hopefully against a weaker defense, third and shorts instead of third and longs. I look for Dallas to put up more points on the road and really put an emphasis on that, have a better road performance. They did find a rushing attack recently against the Giants, so let's see if they can put that together and put up 20 points, 3 touchdowns. I mean, guys, it's not that hard. One trend I do like is when two mobile quarterbacks are playing each other, they tend to kind of feed off each other. I know there's probably not any stats you can quantify this with. Maybe there is. I don't know. Two mobile quarterbacks against each other, look for them to make plays. Look for them to kind of extend things and, one-up each other. Dak and Russell, we know they both can make plays with their feet. Dak doesn't really have the arm of Russell Wilson, but he can definitely extend the play and make some stuff happen. So finally, I know over-unders is a big thing to look at is the weather. Clear skies in Seattle. They have some storms coming in over the weekend, but that should clear out on Sunday. Before this bet, definitely look to the weather and see what's it going to look like. So if it's clear, sun's out, let's take the over 41.5. I'm putting it on 41.5. I'll put my cojones on that one. 41.5 over. Not even at 41. 41.5. There it is. You have it. That's pick 2. Finally, we have another Monday night gem for you guys, you girls, you people. The Pittsburgh Steelers going in to the House of Fitzmagic. See me, I kind of got the Ryan Fitzpatrick going on. I obviously don't have Deshaun Jackson's, fit on or anything, but I kind of got the beard here going. But I'm going to say something, man. Mr. Fitzmagic, you're taking your first loss this weekend against the Pittsburgh Steelers, bro. Yeah, that's right. Big Ben and company are going to come in on Monday Night Football and beat the Tampa Bay Bucks in their house. But Javon, the Steelers haven't won a game yet. The Steelers tied with the Browns. The Steelers suck. Slow down. The Bucks are highly, highly overvalued at this point. Look, I'm going to take Big Ben against Ryan Fitzpatrick 10 days out of the week, and I will take him twice on Monday if I could. Let's look at the line. Where's the action? The action is on Pittsburgh right now. It's not really a strong spread. It's Pitt at -1, maybe 1.5, depending where you're looking. So spread tickets are split. Money line action is definitely leaning towards Pittsburgh, and you can see why. Cheap juice, just give up that 1 point and take them on the money line. All right, so what's the situation? Bucks are riding high. As my good friend likes to say, bad news is good news in this business. So the Tampa Bay Bucks are coming in, they're feeling themselves right now. They just beat the Super Bowl champs. They beat the Saints in New Orleans. They're going to come out at home and they're going to flop on Monday night, dude. You heard it here first. The Steelers are, I don't know how else to put it, pissed off. They still have some players on that defense. They have Mike Tomlin, who is one of the best motivators in the game. He is going to come out and make sure that his boys are ready to play in prime time. I know there's been a lot of controversy with Antonio Brown. I mean, the list just goes on and on with the Steelers right now. It really is fascinating when you look at Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, just the stars in that locker room that are, you would think, tearing it apart. But what better way than to come together than on ESPN at 5:30 on Monday night? Sometimes short-term turmoil really pulls a team together. So Let's look for the Steelers to come out and really just blast a Bucs team that is not as good as them. Okay. In the injury department, David DeCastro's still out. He was out last week, one of their best linemen. There's really nothing to note for Tampa Bay. A big injury return for the Steelers. Guess who's coming back on the outside? Joe Hayden. He's been an all-pro corner. He's a shadow corner. He's going to definitely limit Mike Evans. I know you can't stop Mike Evans. He's going to limit him, though, and make sure that he doesn't get going and that Bucs passing game doesn't get going as potently as it has the past 2 weeks. So, any trends, Javon? Well, I got some for you. Pittsburgh, last 3 games of Monday Night Football, 3-0, straight up. Pittsburgh, in games when the line is +3 to -3, in that kind of pick 'em range, they're 9-12. So, when Pittsburgh's doubted, when Pittsburgh is put up against the wall, look, these guys are veterans. They know what to do, all right? Big Ben still has control of this locker room. They're going to come out, and I don't think I really need to say much else. Pittsburgh is going to blow out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. So, I'm putting it down. I'm putting it on the piece of paper. Pitt will even give up the 1 for the less juice for all you cheap people that don't want to pay juice. Pitt -1. There you have it. My 3 picks this week. We got Niners +7. Seahawks Cowboys over 41.5. And finally, Monday Night Football, Pittsburgh -1. Good luck. All right. Let's move on to DraftKings. DraftKings, everyone loves DraftKings. Why? Because you can put in $3 and make $200,000. Whoa! What do we have for you? So, week 3 DraftKings, it's definitely a weird kind of slate for me. I'm definitely looking to just an overall look at what's going on in the slate. I'm definitely looking to spend down at running back and up at receiver. Down, running back, up, receiver. So take it for what it's worth. That's just kind of what I'm looking to do. So let's go over our sleepers and studs of this week. Should we start with quarterback? Want to start with quarterback? We can start with defense and go back now. Let's start with quarterback. Oh, didn't want to spill any on my fresh white tea here. That's a good thing about the Fitzpatrick beard is it catches a lot of things that come into it. All right. Starting at quarterback. My stud pick, I'm not going to pick Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes this week because those 2 guys are priced at $7K. Everyone else below it is sub $7K. So my top quarterback's going to be Jimmy G this week. I know I told you I like the Niners. I think that Kyle Shanahan comes into Kansas City against a trash defense, and Jimmy G's going to light it up. I'm going for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Book it. 6.5K. He's going to definitely reach that price tag, and he's going to exceed it. So if you want to spend up at quarterback this week, Jimmy G's your guy. A little below that, I could give you someone that's maybe in the sub 5,500 range. I'm going with Matt Ryan at 5.7K. You can call me out for not being a sleeper because it's not one of the lower price guys. He's definitely mid-range. Yeah, he is kind of lower when you look at the whole thing in general. I look for Matt Ryan and that Saints game to maybe turn into a shootout. I know the Saints defense looked better last week. Matt Ryan at this price tag, though, I really like it. 5.7K. Get him in your lineups. I think he could have a big week against New Orleans at home. All right, let's move on to running backs. So this is a guy that hasn't really got a lot of press last 2 weeks. Last year was crushing, slaying. The man Kareem Hunt is sitting at 6,000. We'll go with him in our stud section. It's not even that expensive to be a stud. Look, guys, 6K, that's it. Kareem Hunt. That game is going to be crazy in Kansas City. And, you know, Andy Reid's going to have some stuff dialed up. I don't think he had a high usage rate the week 1 against San Diego. He kind of got it going last week against Pittsburgh. I look for Kareem Hunt to come out and have a pretty big game, catch some balls, and look, there's going to be a lot of points in that game. I think down at the goal line, he's still the unquestioned goal line back. So give Kareem Hunt $6,000 and he'll come out and he'll put up 24 Draftkings points. That's a lot. So I'm going out on a limb. He's going to hit 4 times value. All right. This is going to be our sleeper running back section this week. So who do we have? I'm going with the Eagles backfield. Just came in today. Jay Ajayi is not going to be in the lineup. He is going to sit this week. His back's kind of hurting him. He's got something going on over here. So Jay Ajayi is out of the lineup. I'm going to go with the dual-headed threat of Corey Clement at 4,300 and Wendell Smallwood at the minimum price tag, $3K. Look, this is a way where you can fit someone in that might make a big play. He's got some talent. He's got some burners. And he could definitely score a touchdown. He could definitely catch 5 to 6 passes this week. And at $3K, all he needs to get you is, 15 points. And you're saving a lot of money in your lineup against a Colts team that they do have a good D-line. I think some people think it might be better than advertised. I don't think they're a great defense still. I think the return of Carson Wentz really helps out the Eagles this week. I know some people are like, well, he's going to knock the rust off. Dude, this guy's a stud, man. ACL injuries are not what they used to be. I know Deshaun Watson didn't look that good the past 2 weeks. I just think Carson Wentz, they held him out. I think the Eagles have a great system, and we get a great price with Smallwood here at $3K and Corey Clement at $4,300. So lock those guys into your lineup this week. Wide receivers. So we have a lot of stud wide receivers this week that could get a lot of volume and end up cashing you big tickets. So like I said, I'm spending up at wide receiver. If I'm going to spend down, here are 3 guys that I like kind of in the mid-range to bottom range. So we're going to skip the stud section of wide receivers this week because I think there's too many that are good, and go to the sleepers. At 6,100, I like Nelson Aguilar. I know I just talked about the Eagles. This is a perfect segue. I think this is a great price tag for him. Mike Wallace is out for the year. Zach Ertz is still going to get his fair share of targets. I think Carson Wentz's return really helps out Nelson this week, and he should hit his price tag of 6.1K. He'll probably catch a touchdown, and he's been catching a lot of balls this year so far. He could definitely catch 7 to 9 passes and score a touchdown for 80 yards. I could see that easily happening for him. And if he breaks off a big play against that Colts secondary, then maybe he's looking at a 25-point plus DraftKings day. Number 2, I like Mr. Ty Lockett on the Seattle Seahawks at 5,300. This dude is a burner. He got a touchdown last week. That was a pretty good grab in the corner of the end zone against Chicago. So he's got talent. He can get up and down the field quick. All it takes is one big play. I'm not sure if he's still returning punts. If he does, that's definitely a huge bonus for him as well. He's always a threat to bring a punt back. So Tyler Lockett, Russell Wilson loves those deep passes down the middle and the sideline. I think he could catch a bomb Sunday, come out and maybe hit for 20 DraftKings points. At 5,300, I think it's a good price. Doug Baldwin's still out. The Seattle passing game is definitely funneled towards him and Will Disley, or whatever his name is, Disley. Those 2 guys are the ones you want to own in that passing game. So let's look for Tyler Lockett to come out and hit this price tag at 5,300. And finally, this is my guy, Calvin Ridley, 3,700 from the Alabama Crimson Tide, now plays for the Atlanta Falcons. He caught his first touchdown last week, so congratulations, Calvin, on catching your first tub. I think he'll repeat that this week. Look, the coaching staff has to know that he's got more talent than Mohamed Sanu. He's younger, he's faster, and he fits the slot of what this offense wants to do as far as a slot receiver running the middle. And someone just called me on my iPhone, which is linked to my iPad, which is filming this show, which means that I have to now splice the video. So where were we? Calvin Ridley, yeah, he runs in the slot. I think he's definitely a great play this week at 3,700. If he ever gets into that PPR kind of role of the Atlanta offense where he's catching a lot of balls, his price tag is going to go way up over the next few weeks this season. So I think we'll grab him here at 3,700 and hope for him to repeat what he did last week. Okay, tight end. Tight end's kind of weird this week. No Gronk because he's on Sunday night. No Gronk on Sunday night. So two tight ends I like this week are George Kittle and Eric Ebron. George Kittle, I'm going back to the well. I know last week he didn't really hit. We had him as a sleeper play. His price tag actually went up this week. He's 4,500. Obviously, that game's going to be a shootout in Kansas City. We know there's going to be points. So take George Kittle. Jimmy G still looks his way. So I think George Kittle at 4,500 is a good play, especially in that game with a lot of points. Put George Kittle in your lineup and you will be rewarded. Next one is an injury play. I like Eric Ebron on the Colts at 3,400. Well, Jack Doyle's sitting out, so we're going to see a lot more targets his way. I think he's already caught a touchdown this year. Eric Ebron's a talented dude. Definitely a little bit older now, playing in his second contract with the Colts instead of Lions. So this is a great price tag, though. You could see him getting maybe 5 to 7 targets at that price tag. If he catches 4 or 5 balls for 60 yards, that's 10, 12 points. And if he gets that touchdown to get him up to 20, he could definitely cash you some lineups. I think Eric Ebron's a good play at 3,400. Finally, defense. I'm rolling out the Ravens this week. 2,800 at home against the Denver Broncos offense that has been playing at home the past 2 weeks. They really struggled. They actually didn't score a point in the first half against the Raiders, who do not have a good defense. And this week they go on the road to the Ravens, who are getting C.J. Mosley back. And that's the unquestioned leader of their defense. So the Ravens at home, this is a great play. I think Case Keenum's thrown 4 or 5 interceptions this year already. Count on him to throw another one this week. So let's take the Ravens at 2,800, and maybe they'll hold them to 14 points and get a big pick 6 or a fumble 6 or something. I don't think the Broncos are going to play that well this week. Take the Ravens 2,800. That's a deal for defense. Another one is the Eagles at 3K. I watched that game pretty closely, the Colts and Skins last week, and Andrew Luck is still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's still hampered by that shoulder injury, though, man. It sucks to see, but he's missing some throws, some easy stuff. I think he threw a pick last week. I know he did, actually, and I could see the Eagles picking him off. The Eagles have a great front four, amazing defensive line. Michael Bennett's going to get to him. They're going to make him uncomfortable. So take the Eagles at 3K at home. I think this is a great price tag for them. They should for sure hit value on that and get you some cash in your lineups. All right, everyone. So that's been the show. If you want to find more stuff about me, I'll be uploading my link to my Instagram. You can check me out on there. I'll get you some more Draftkings picks. Once again, let's take these 3 this week, and we will be a winner. Pitt over 41.5. Niners +7. Boom, boom, boom. Here's my Draftkings picks. Jimmy G, Matt Ryan, Kareem Hunt, Wendell Smallwood, Corey Clement, Nelson Aguilar, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, George Kittle, Eric Ebron, Baltimore Ravens, and Philly Eagles. I'll be back with you next Friday to see how we did. Good luck this weekend.